Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, Erev Shabbat, the end of a trying and difficult week, and for too many people around the world, a tragic week. But here in Montreal, I'm proud to say that this community has rallied together. Those who are isolated, and that includes most of us, have found ways to connect and to reach out, especially to those whose lives are difficult and lonelier than most. And this community has really stepped up, and Federation and others deserve an enormous amount of credit. I thought I would spend just a couple of minutes this morning talking about the blessing of Shabbat. You know, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story that I heard from my late father. In the 18th century in Poland, there was a Polish nobleman with the appropriate title, Graf in Polish, Graf Potocki, who was the wealthiest man in Poland, the wealthiest family in Poland. In Yiddish, there was an expression at the time, Reich wie Potocki, as rich as Potocki. I guess the equivalent would be Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos today. And he, like many Poles, had a large estate. He, like many Poles at the time, had a Jew living on his estate who ran the affairs of his family and the affairs of his business. And one Friday afternoon, this nobleman had some friends over. And they drank a little too much. And in their inebriated state, they went out and humiliated the Jew who ran the estate. They beat him up. They made him crawl in the mud. They made him bray like a donkey, bark like a dog, roll in the mud like a pig. And they humiliated him and laughed at him physically and otherwise abused him. All the while this ugly spectacle was taking place, the son of the Polish nobleman watched with disgust at his father's behavior and the friends of his father. And he had known this Jew his whole life. He grew up and the man was always a part of his life, and he felt terrible. Friday night, he wants to go see how the Jew was doing. And he went to the little house on the estate where the Jew lived with his family. And he went to knock on his door. And right before he knocked on the door, he looked through the window. And through the window, he saw the same man who hours earlier was being humiliated and denigrated by his father and by his father's friends, was now sitting at the head of his Shabbat table as if he was the member of a royal family. And when this young man, the son of the Polish nobleman, saw this sight, he realized the powerful transforming effect of Shabbat. And as the story unfolded, he went off and he converted to Judaism, which was a capital crime in Poland in those days under the church, and he hid in the city of Vilnius, in the city of Vilna. Tragically, somebody revealed his identity, and he was burned at the stake by the church. And he's buried in the Vilna cemetery till today, next to the great Rabbi of Vilna, who insisted on being buried next to this righteous convert, the Ger Tzedek. You used the words in those days, righteous convert. Everyone knew who you were talking about. And the great Vilna Gaon, the great Rabbi of Vilna, is buried next to him in the Vilna cemetery. This righteous convert who understood what all Jews understand intuitively, which is the powerful transforming effect of Shabbat. As Acharam said, more than the Jew has ever kept Shabbat, the Shabbat has kept the Jew. If you want to understand the secret of Jewish survival through the most terrifying moments of Jewish history, it's because we always were able to carve out a space for ourselves, to create our own world. And the way we were able to do that was with Shabbat. We didn't live in their world of hate and animosity. We lived in our world of Shabbat, of joy, of hope, of optimism, of love. Shabbat had the ability to create and to transform every Jewish home into an embassy of the holy city of Jerusalem. We didn't live in their world, we lived in our own world because of Shabbat. And because of that, we were able to preserve our dignity and our identity and our humanity. That's what Shabbat does for us. This Shabbat is different. We've all spent much more time at home, cloistered with our families, than we usually do. But Shabbat is a gift. It's a gift because sometimes even when we're together, we're not really together. We're all looking at the machines in front of us. We're looking at our iPads and our iPhones, and we're not always connecting. Shabbat is a beautiful opportunity to put all of that down, turn it all off, and to look at each other in the eye as we're supposed to every Shabbat, to actually communicate, to actually connect, to study together, to play together, to do what we are supposed to do on Shabbat, which is to be together as families. I hope and I pray that this Shabbat will be a source of comfort and solace and invigorate the soul for the week ahead. I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom.